Welcome to the 24th day of August 2021, and it is Tuesday, which means it's time for ideas. Ideas that cause conversations, ideas that impact society. Today on the program we talk about art and politics. Now, which one influences the other? And if you can remember the song Unbogable by Gidi Gidi and Maji Maji, that was an anthem, especially during the time when Kenyans hosted President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. And of course, you remember the song by Ben Githae in last general elections in 2017 of the Jubilee Party, and so much more. Now, today in the program, we want to see politicians, what effect do they have to the art scene and otherwise. With me on set, right next to me, is Pastor Ken Kisilu.
Yeah.
Pastor cum musician.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
And of course, Brendan Dungu, an actor.
Yes.
Welcome to the program. And to set this conversation going and just started, we want to take a look at this clip right over here. So if we can have a director.
This year looks promising.
Yes, there's so much to expect. Thank you.
The acceptable year of the Lord.
Yes, indeed.
Any laid out manifesto yet?
Just waiting for the right time to disseminate.
You need to follow the system.
Actually, I'd like you to meet Anthony. This is my son, Anthony, who is now a man. I educated him, took him to the army. Now here he is.
Amazing, amazing.
Is this the full amount? Yeah. Listen to me very carefully. You don't know where you're going to get the rest of the money. But tomorrow, the same time, I want my money. Umenisikia? Now, get out of my house.
I understand, sir.
We'll have to have a plan B because we can't risk our reputation.
Is happening in the video that you just saw. Brenda, explain what we've just seen. We've seen there's a movie, there's a music scene, the people dancing, then there seems to be someone appearing like a politician. Just break it down for us.
Well, Five Fingers basically is all about the society. If you try to hold, or rather grasp, something strong with these two fingers, well, chances are 75% of the chances the thing will drop down. If you try to grasp it with this three, 68% chances it will still drop. If you try to drop, to hold it, well, I can't even.
With 4 fingers?
It's literally not possible. We need 5 of these fingers to hold, rather grasp something strong, firmly. Well, that is unless, of course, for the, impaired people, but they also have skills of how they hold things.
Okay.
So basically, 5 fingers is about this thumb. Whenever somebody does something good, most people do.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, good job. So this thumb represents good acts of the society.
Okay.
And this thumb represents power. That's why when this thumb goes down, both these thumbs, when they go down, these 4 fingers represents the people.
Okay.
This is the person in power, and these are the people. When this person does this is the way to go. The people bow and say, yes, we are going to follow what you're saying. That's why the people have bowed, well, symbolically.
Well, art has maana nje, maana ndani.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this represent politicians, leaders, people in power. Well, in this context, the politician. This represents the people. Now, the middle finger, well, I'm not going to put it because of the impression that it will give to the people, but the middle finger symbolically represents the artists. This finger represents the teachers, the pastors. So we have the politician or the leaders in the society. We have the pastors, the religious leaders, who says no. Whenever somebody is instructing you and telling you, I will do this if you dare do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one
command.
is somehow instructive in nature. Yeah. So the politician, this is the way to go. The pastors or the religious leaders, no. Or do this, do not do this. And then the artists, the middle finger,
Okay.
who are the influence now. The artists in this context, I will relate them to the prophets. Nelima, when you read Ephesians 11, Ephesians 4 verse 11, it says, and I gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and others pastors and teachers. Now, pastors and teachers have been put in conjunction but all the others have been put separately, independently. So, apostles, in this, when you try to find out the meaning of the word apostle, it has several meanings, but there's a specific meaning that says an apostle is somebody who is a pioneer of a specific idea or policy, who's a strong supporter of a particular policy. So if we would put the people or the citizens as the apostles in this context, we wouldn't be wrong. Why? Because if we read Jesus as the teacher, he was being followed by apostles or disciples.
Okay.
So when the Bible says, I have made some of you apostles, that is, I have made some of you citizens, the people, and some of you prophets. So we have the apostles, the people, we have the prophets, the artists. Now, when you look at the definition of the word prophet, it has very many definitions, but there's one that specifically says a person who is able to see the future. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, some of the key functions of prophets was to foretell, this is going to happen in future. Others was to, the major function was to foretell. So if an artist is gifted with a specific kind of skill, say singing, it is not without purpose.
Okay, so is that how Five Fingers came about?
Yeah, that is how Five Fingers came about, because it was like a vision-like series. When I was scripting the movie, I got it in form of a vision. And I wrote it in 2020, that is last year, during the Corona period. And that is when the onset of, the onset of political, campaigns and all that. So when I was trying to write this movie, I was being, directed by the Spirit of God to talk about how politicians affect, how politicians influence what artists reveal to people.
Okay.
That is one. And two, how artists influence people to make political decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will rope you in, Pastor Kisidu, at this moment. So you are an artist, a singer, and you know the politics. Okay, you're a singer and a pastor. Very right for this conversation, actually.
Okay.
Because the politics, especially in a country like Kenya, it's marred with a lot of corruption. There's a lot of rigging. There's a lot of dirty money that changes hands. So politics, in many people's eyes in the country, is seen as a very dirty game.
Right.
So what is the place for Christians? Are they not supposed to have an opinion?
They should have an opinion because they are citizens of this nation. They belong to this country, and therefore every decision that is made by the people of the Republic, Christians are also involved. Everything that happens in this country, Christians should take part in making decisions. And so it's very important for every person. If you are a citizen, being a believer or a Christian does not rob you your right of citizenship.
Does it
Yeah, does not tell you now you live in heaven, you don't live in earth. We are believers, we are Christian, right? But we are still living on this country. We are living in this world. And particularly we are in this country. And so everything that happens in the country affects each and every person, every citizen, whether you are an Islam or a Christian or whichever denomination. And therefore, every person should take part, even in politics, in everything, even pastors, even bishops, whoever should participate in all this.
Okay, and I'll just give an example maybe of, say, Bishop Margaret. These are members of the clergy who are now in politics. And as I said earlier, politics is it's a dirty game. And so when the clergy become part of the political game, then people start viewing them differently. They're like, oh, they've been soiled just like the others. So does getting into politics for believers or for someone who has they're morally upright, does politics change all that? Does it have to?
Okay, different people have different opinions concerning such, but I once heard someone say, actually a religious leader say, that even believers, even especially leaders in the church or religious leaders, should raise and get to the marketplace, the place where people have influence of nation, and be part of it. And therefore, at some point, as you're saying, and it's true, is that politics is it's not a good game. It's something that is not quite hostile for many people, and therefore, especially for people who are called with a calling to serve the Lord, it's very it's something that should be keenly observed. That even as we engage into it, we engage with wisdom and having a direction from the Lord. And therefore, for people like Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, she has been involved in politics for a while. Yeah. At some point, she was a member of parliament. She vied for gubernatorial seat, and actually, it's what she's looking forward for. And she still actively participates in the things of God. She serves in the church. She is a pastor. She is actually a bishop. And if you listen to her, what she probably has stand concerning what she is doing, should probably make sense in what she is doing. Taking part in politics and at the same time serving the Lord, because every person has his own calling. And therefore, I will not judge her or anybody who is a minister of the gospel and participating in politics. But the ultimate thing is that we ought to hold our calling, especially the religious leaders, the pastors and everybody who serve in the Lord. Have a focus on what you're supposed to do, especially if God, you know God speaks, and he speaks to give direction. If God tells you as a servant of God, this is what I want you to do, stick to that.
Okay.
I've heard of a minister of the gospel through music, a very popular and renowned gospel musician who is respected, Reuben Kigame, who is actually looking forward to eye for presidency, you know. And it's right to do that. So if God gives you a direction to or something to participate as a believer, don't be afraid because people have different opinion. But if you have heard the voice of God and the direction that you've received is that that you're looking forward for, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Brenda, we say that art mirrors society.
Yes.
In Kiswahili we say sanaa ni kioo cha jamii.
Ndio.
So in our movies, series, name it, then we try to show what's really happening in the society.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
And like in Five Fingers, just how a politician can use a singer to advance their political interest. So if you can talk a little bit about how maybe it pushed you, why that? Why the idea in the first place?
Well, politicians and artists have three things in common. One, both roles are godly purposed. If you take the example of David and Saul, in this context, we are not going to use David as a king, but as an artist. He was gifted with singing, and that is how he got to compose songs as directed by the Holy Spirit of God, so as to drive away the evil spirits out of the king, now the politician's soul. So that is a common thing. Both their roles were godly purposed. God knew these two will come together to fulfill a certain purpose. That is one. Two, both communicate to influence. So it is very easy for either parties to use the other party in order to get to influence the people. So about the movie, we have this politician that it's about election. As we saw from that clip, he's being asked, have you laid out any manifesto yet? He said, yeah, I'm just waiting for the right time to disseminate. Then we get to see him quarrel a young man there, like, where is my money? So I won't preempt what is there in between that for copyright purposes, but it's very easy for a politician to use an artist in order to influence the people for his political gain. You know, our heartbeats flow in a rhythmical kind of manner. That's why in Elima, there's a certain song you would hear and you would be like, oh yes, that's right, that's my favorite song. Why? Because it goes straight into your heart, and then now your heart starts beating rhythmically with the song. And what is the song doing? The song is turning your perspective of life with its message. So what a politician can do to say manipulate, or rather use for goodly purposes, it doesn't have to be manipulation really. A politician will know, okay, so there is an age group, the young people, they love, say, gengetone. So I'm going to use a particular gengetone artist to compose political songs which are gengetone political songs, so that
to reach out for that age group.
To reach out for that age group.
Okay.
So we wouldn't call it manipulation, but that might be his tactic. Now, the problem comes in here. The artists might also need to have a share of the cake. One, fame, of course. You know, if you praise, say, the president, people will know, oh, so he's working with the president of the country. So you gain more fame.
Propels you further.
And that is what artists love, especially fame. Two, the artist might think, no, except from fame, what else can I get from this, from doing this? I need financial freedom. See? So the artist will start now composing songs or shooting movies that are favorable to this particular politician whom they have signed a contract with, but is now doing contrary to what he was called for, as Pastor said. The Lord might have called him, you know, just relay love songs or just speak the truth to the people. But now the artist is now going the other direction because of his own selfish ambitions. And the politician also is having his share of the cake. Okay. So that is where the conflict of interest comes in. Yeah.
And when I started off, I mentioned Ben Gidai. We know Tano Tena. And anytime, I've seen very many photos of Ben Gidai. Anytime he's seen thinking, people are like, oh, he's crafting a 2022 song.
New song.
Anytime you sing with a pen, oh, he's just looking for a notebook to write a song for 2022. And he was frowned upon. People judged him so much because he is a gospel artist and he chose to support Jubilee. And the major reason, as people were alleging, was because of the money. So then, when money comes your way, you're a musician. So if a bigwig, a contender for 2022 elections comes in, gives you a contract of, say, 10, 15 million, Kisilu, write my theme song for the 2022 elections, and then we'll see how it goes. What do you do?
I would say that it's really a tricky position or thing for anybody who involves or is involved in music making. When you get to such a situation, especially if you're doing it for God, I would say that it depends, because number one, there are music ministers who are born again and they do music for ministry purpose. There are others who do ministry or music for fame, as she said, and as a business, as a career. And so different musicians have different purposes of their art, and therefore for people who does ministry or music for ministry, most likely they will not get into such contracts. It's really a tricky position, because we always say in every other interview, if I'm invited as an artist, what are some of the challenges that you go through? I'll speak with my voice and say finances, because music needs money. You need to do music to have growth in your financial, capabilities.
And videos are expensive.
I tell you, they are very expensive. Before you see a video on Lookup TV for musicians, he or she has invested a lot. And therefore, it's all about money. But, as I said, is that it depends on how you've perceived your gifts. Because this is a gift that you receive from the Lord. And so if you're doing it as a ministry, God gives direction. God speaks. And so if he tells you don't write a song for a certain politician who is eyeing for this particular seat, please don't do. Because if you do, you're going against the will of God and the purpose of God giving you that particular gift.
So does that mean that if you are a Christian, then you cannot make songs for politicians?
On my position,
there's a candidate that you probably believe in.
As I said, musicians who does music for God, if you sing for God, God has given you that gift to sing for him, to do music, to minister to people in terms of their spirituality is concerned. So if God has not given you a direction and you hear the voice of God, kama wewe ni mtu ambaye unasikia sauti ya Mungu, you hear the voice of God and receive a direction from the Lord. If God does not allow that, allow you to do that, please don't do. Because if you do, you mix ministry with politics and other things. So for people, maybe for Ben Gedai, as you said, maybe he's in singing as a career. So if you're doing it as a career and you get an opportunity, a career is catalyzed by what you receive from whatever you're doing. And so if he is promised to get some millions of money to write a song, why not?
And so many people would jump up to that opportunity because look at especially what COVID has done to the economy.
Yeah, exactly.
If any artist is given a deal, a good deal ahead of the 2022 elections, and I'm sure they're cooking. They're somewhere in the kitchen. These deals are cooking. People are going to be making money.
Exactly,
a lot of money changes hands, especially during this campaign period. So between now and August of next year, we're expecting a lot of that. So Brenda, do you think that saying no and upholding your moral values, do you think it counts at this moment?
It does. Why? Because the Bible says, the same Ephesians chapter 4 and verse, is it 12 or 14? It says, I chose you as a politician. I chose you as an artist. I chose you as a pastor. I chose you as a presenter. I didn't choose you as a politician presenter. I didn't choose you as a pastor politician. You see, the reason why I chose each of you to do these specific roles in the society is because I know there will come a time where you will be tempted to be swayed it says to and fro with every doctrine of men.
Okay.
Men who use their craftiness. You know, somebody whose craft is somebody who's very wise, but doing it in a not the right kind of way, but for his or her selfish gain. So the reason why you are a politician and the reason why you are a gospel artist and not a political artist is because God says no. So it's either you to choose the money or what the scripture says. Do not be tossed to and fro by crafty men, but stand like adults, not as children.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and at that point, we take a very short break here on The Big Idea. Remember, you can engage with me using the SMS number 20374 at Look Up TV on Twitter, Look Up TV on Facebook. Let's keep the conversation going. Don't go too far.
Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@look-up.tv.
Welcome to Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. When you first come in, we will be happy to receive you at our reception, then proceed to our cozy and well-equipped accommodation facilities. We aim to provide our guests with a unique, comfortable and worthwhile experience. Here at Look Up Guest House, we provide our guests with a continuous supply of room amenities. A cool environment for all your retreat activities.
Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. For reservation, contact us on info@lookupguesthouse.org or call us on 0746 788 707. Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Look Up TV movement now.
And welcome back, Nancy Nalima here. The hashtag is Big Idea right here on Look Up TV, at Look Up TV on Twitter, Look Up TV on Facebook. The conversation we're having in studio tonight is about art and politics. Now, which one influences the other? And does the art, the movies, the series, the songs that we sing, do they reflect what's really happening in our society? With me on set is Ken Kisilu right next to me, who is a musician, come pastor, or pastor come musician.
Whichever.
And of course,
first
and
okay.
Brenda Ndungu, who is an actor. Welcome once more. And let's continue with the conversation. So before the break, we were just speaking about how when the deal is too good, they say think twice. But when the deal is money, then what? So we even saw musician Bahati as well in 2017. Same for the Jubilee Party, making songs and of course being on the campaign trail and just, psyching up the very many people who come to these campaigns. And as again, Brenda, I'll toss it to you. So what you do majorly is you do art and acting, to be specific. Yeah. So if there was a politician, say political leaders, who want to fund the project, but possibly then you'd have to change your script in a way to make them known or to stamp their influence in a way, how would you take it?
As an actor, I would love it, of course, as an actor, because I'm just there to act, reflect, show the people this is what happens. But as the script writer and as the director, I would decline. Because that is a blackmail. If Nelima, your personality or your relationships or your businesses affect how you make judgments, then you are not integral and you do not have character. Yeah. Okay. So then it would be, like you want to be in control of your script and be in charge of how you tell your story. Not really be in absolute control. They say absolute power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. If I would have the absolute power to tell the cast, you are going to do my story, not any other story, then that is corrupting. Abuse of power. But now, if a politician approaches me as the scriptwriter or as the producer and says, I need you to produce this movie in my favor, I need you to tarnish my opponent's name, I would say no. But if the politician approaches me and says, I need you to produce this movie about the goodness of good leadership, the consequences of poor leadership, then I would love it, because this person is not trying to blackmail me in order to slander his or her opponent. Okay. But he or she is trying to show the people through the artwork that this is the benefit of good leadership. So we don't really need to mention the name of the politician in the movie, but now when the people are watching the movie, they would see, oh, actually, it's good to select good leaders. But then, of course, you would want to, acknowledge the politician at the end of the movie. You see the way you see the names of the people who have been involved there. Yeah. So that way people would know, oh, so actually. Honorable so-and-so actually is the one who was behind all this, then he could be a good leader. So that is how the politician has used the artist to influence the people in a good way, not in a manipulative kind of way. Okay. So I would say yes or no, depending on the situation. Yeah. And looking back at the 2007-2008 clashes that we had as a country, one of the very tough times the country has experienced.
And Eric Wainaina, the musician, the song that he sang, Naishi, you know, yes. And it came in at a very good time because there was a lot of tension and there was a lot of violence, bloodshed. Many people lost their lives. There were cases at ICC later on. And so using that opportunity for an artist to use it to calm the people, is this something that we need to see more?
I would say that it's something that we need to see more because of course, we have been called, and every gift has a purpose. So we have been called to build peace and to bring harmony among us people. We don't minister to angels. We sing to, minister to souls of men. And therefore, if a song will bring peace, if a song will bring unity, if a song will bring the society together and the people together, then that song is worthwhile, is something that is important. And so I would say that composing or God giving you a song to bring people together is something that we need to embrace, even for content creators, people who write songs and who are songwriters and singers, who can compose music that will bring people together and will bring peace among us people. It's something that we would want to see and to have in our nation, in every other place.
Okay, and on the flip side, we have songs like, say, for musician Jaguar, who's now an MP, and talks about Vigeugeu, Wanasiasa, and there are many other songs like that. But now singing for the Kenyan audience, again, the Kenyan politics, many people vote along tribal lines. So these songs, do they just enjoy? But when it's time to vote at the ballot, then they'll still vote according to the tribal lines. You vote for 6 people, and mtu anasema ni suti. Just vote for one party throughout. So do these songs, are they just good to the ear and danceable when we are out there? Do we digest them?
Is that
yes, Brenda?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I wouldn't say if we do or don't, but I would rephrase it and say we can or can't. Now, this is where the prowess of the artist comes in. There's this Wajinga Nyinyi by King Kaka. Regardless of the tribe of any Kenyan, I'm sure as many as Kenyans who heard that song, it left an impact.
The message arrived.
Negative. So that is where the artist was able to use his spoken word prowess to make sure that I don't care whether you're Kalenjin or whatever, I want you to get this and stick it in your head, like this is the message. So that one will depend, changing the tribal, political tribal perspective of the citizen will depend with the prowess of the artists. Yeah.
Okay. You want to add something, Pasi?
I would add and say that recently I have seen some of the political leaders wanting to change the conversation about tribal kind of politics and bringing something, a different narrative altogether. And therefore, it would be a good thing for us to see, people from different communities probably voting for a politician who does not come from their community. So if we can see that in our country, it would be a good thing for every person. And if even arts, people who are involved in arts, writing music, can push that kind of a conversation, that we don't need to embrace a leader or a political leader because he comes from our community. We can vote for someone else because he has an agenda for us as a people, not for us as a community. Okay. Then it would be a good thing. I think it can be a good thing.
Okay. Yeah. And for artists, not that both of you are artists, then politicians use art a lot during the campaigns. But then when they are in power, do they reciprocate the same? Say musicians are out here crying every day, that they get very little. Yeah. So then, what can you say about that, Brenda?
Well, I wouldn't really specify and say, well, not really specify, but say yes or no, because it still depends with the person. You know, it's all about integrity, moral uprightness. Whether you're a pastor, a gospel artist, a secular artist, it depends with your integrity. You know, it is not a two-way gain. Like, if you make me win this election, when I get there, I will make you, I'll make you an international artist, not just a local artist. It's not a two-way game. It's about here and now. Okay, I want to win this election, so you do your thing. Here's your whatever. Here's your payment, or this is what you gain from this. Okay, good. So after this, maybe I can be, sponsoring some of your videos and all that. So we can't really say politicians are obliged to reciprocate the win-win. Yeah. Okay. After they have won. Yeah.
And what about artists turned politicians or actors turned politicians? Yeah. So I'd give the same for Charles Njagua, aka Jaguar, and of course even KJ, who's a member of the founder of Ridiculous. So when they are coming from the art scene straight now into politics, do you as artists then hold them accountable for all things arts they should be promoting because they've been there? Do you do that, Kisilu?
I would say we should, because, why did they take that move to go to politics from, probably they became popular and they saw that from their artistic work, or from the popularity that they received from their artistic work, created a platform, and they became influencers, great influencers who can, go to a certain constituency and tell the people, look, I'm a popular person. You remember the song I sang, Vigeugeu? No, now I cannot geuka nyinyi. I cannot geuka. So I'm a good person, so you can vote me. They can use that platform. But again now, we have seen people who have gone that direction and they forget. They forget and they begin, the normal politics of take me there, I'll do this, and then they get there and they forget. And I think it's a good thing for someone to remember where he has come from. If you have been a musician and that particular industry gave you a platform to become something better, then create a good place for those whom you left there. The previous question that you had asked about, having a mutual benefit on, I think for you, you create a good environment. I think it's quite a good thing, because the other day I saw artists gathering in front of politicians, or looking at one another and telling them, we have suffered a lot. We are musicians in this country, but we earn very little, yet you consume a lot of our music. And there is that debate, increase our Skiza tune percentage, earnings, and such kind of things. And if politicians, if those people are capable, because it's those leaders that we elect who are capable to make laws and regulations which can create a good platform and good environment for these artists that helps them to become popular and get those hits. Once they get there, they should, I think they should create, environment where these artists can benefit. Let's say, for example, the case of Skizatunes. You find the artist is the composer, is the person who financed the work, yet he or she gets something very little, a very small percentage of the earnings. If a law can be made, and I think that is what we saw, that these artists, because you have helped us to get where we are, and we consume your music, we ought to, and the conversation brought something good in the pockets of the artists. I think we should get these people accountable on what happens to the lives of the artists.
Of artists.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to add something?
Well, yes. Well, I would say we really can't hold every politician accountable because, if you're not an artist, there's some things you cannot relate to. Like when an artist says, no, I feel like that song does not rhyme with these lyrics, and then the fan will be like, no, I feel it's just perfect. But the artist is scrutinizing and saying, no, I need to remove this and add this. So, yeah, he's right when he says we need to hold them accountable. But I think it depends. It's not every politician that needs to be held accountable for the artist in his region or place where he leads. Because they might not be relating with our problems, by the way. This guy does not even know what are the problems of this artist. He does not even know what it takes to shoot a movie or something. He only knows, okay, you need to shoot your movie, curfew time, that is what the law says. Curfew time, you need to be at home, okay? So if you go and start holding a demonstration saying, no, we are artists and sometimes we need to shoot scenes that are at night, so we need to shoot at around midnight. And then the politician will come in and say, no, you cannot break the law. So basically, we cannot hold them accountable.
Okay. Yeah. And Brenda, this is to you. You know that the 207 clashes, one of the ICC suspects was a radio presenter. And media is still a form of art.
Yeah.
And so maybe just a quick question of how important to use that space as an artist to influence the society.
Well, I like that. I really love it because in these modern times, I think the media people actually have the most influence. When you compare them with the politician, artists, all influential people in the society, right now, the media says it's this, everybody goes that way. The media says the other way around, everybody goes that way. So it's very important, especially for presenters, well, let me say just the media in general, not to be on one side of the picture.
Okay.
But our media today, especially during this political era, campaigns, all that, some of the media productions are owned by our leaders, So the owner or the CEO of the media production will come and say, you will not air this opponent of mine tarnishing my name in my production. Do you want to lose your job as a presenter? You don't. So what do? You just give the briefing, and then when the time comes for that opponent to talk, you say, let's go for a short break.
Carefully.
Yeah, so I think the media should preach or teach or convey the truth and nothing but the truth. Yes.
Okay, well said. Yes, Giselo, what are your thoughts on the same?
Peace. Every media house and every people of influence, especially in the media fraternity, what should be preached is peace. Because, as you have said, one of the presenters found himself in ICC. Why? Because it's said that he propagated kind of hate or such.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's very important for every person who is in the media area to be able to stand in a place where whatever is being preached, whatever is being conveyed is peace, for people to be united, regardless of the position of that media, because, as she said, some of the media houses are owned by these politicians. And so the population doesn't know and doesn't want to know who owns this. They just want the rightful message, which is peace.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can be sure that Look Up TV, we are very passionate. We give you nothing but the truth, as Brenda said. And we've come to the end of the conversation, but maybe in just 10 seconds each, if you can tell us your big idea, Brenda, of merging art and politics positively.
I think politicians and artists should come together and convey the truth to the people and unity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Pasi.
Yeah, you know, in our society today and in this time and age, the politicians are seen as the high people and the mighty people, the elite. And you know, the Bible says in Proverbs 18:16, chapter 18, verse 16, that the gift of a man ushers them to sit with the
greatest.
The great.
Yeah.
And you know, if you can have a gift that will, connect you with someone who can propel you to your destiny with the help of God, why not?
By all means.
By all means. Why not? We strive to progress and to succeed in this life, and therefore, let's, as you said, in the good way, let's be of help to one another. Political class and the artistic class combined efforts to bring good to the people and to help one another.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Kisilu, a musician, okay, and of course, Brenda, who is an actor, Brenda Ndungu. That is it from us here on Big Idea. From me and the rest of the crew, thank you so much for watching.